So I've had a lot of really awesome things happen to me over the past few days, and one of them is with regards to a new company I'm starting, a new business. Um, Ever since I've been little, I've always been entrepreneurial, and I've wanted to start some sort of enterprise, some sort of business. But what held me back was thinking too big. I thought, look at all these guys. Look at Elon Musk. He's doing Neuralink, or he's doing Tesla or SpaceX, some crazy technologically advanced business, or look at Bill Gates or any of these other tech gurus. All their businesses that they start are really complex, and the barriers to entry for something like that for the average Joe are, impossible. You cannot do something like that unless you have the capital behind you and the knowledge. So I thought, what is there for me to do? I can't build motorcycles. I can't build a car. I can't make some advance in medical science. I can't do a lot. I can't do a lot of complex things. So that was holding me back. I thought, well, I'm not ready yet. I just need to wait until someday I can magically do some of these things, and then I can start my business. But that was a limiting belief because I was thinking too big. So I met someone who was moving the other day, and I asked her, do you have a mover? How are you going to move your house? And for just for clarification, it wasn't a house. It was a little apartment, 2-room apartment. This person wasn't married, just a single individual, a little older, not very many friends and family to help. So she didn't have any mover. So I said, would you like me to move this apartment for you? And she thought about it, and she said, yeah, I'll give you $1,000 to do it. So I thought about it. I was like, $1,000. I think I could work with that. So I don't have a truck. I don't have a moving truck. I don't have anything. I helped a friend move a big house a few years ago. And it was very strenuous and very physically demanding. But I thought, I'm up for the challenge. I can do that. So I rented a moving truck. I rented it for $150, and I hired my friend for $200. And then we spent about $50 in gas. So I ended up moving this lady. We started at around 6 p.m. and then we finished at around 1 a.m. So it was crazy. Both of us were going at it all day. We were working crazy hard. But it just shows you, if you want to start a business or if you want to be industrious and proactive, there's opportunities out there. They're all over us, and you just have to think smaller. And I'll do the math for you on a shingle that I have right here. So she gave me $1,000 right here. I paid my friend $200. I paid $150 to rent the truck. I paid $50 for gas. So that's, if you subtract all these disbursements from what the initial offering was, $1,000 minus $200, then minus $400, that's $600. So I ended up walking away with $600 in my pocket. And I worked for that. And it just shows you, if you want to be entrepreneurial, you can do it. Kind of a funny story, kind of a scary story actually. When we were moving, I didn't know where this location we were moving to was. This lady was like, "You guys go move the stuff, and I'll stay at home and take care of. I'll keep unpacking while you guys go move." So she gave us the coordinates, and we went to do this move. And this was deep rural country where we were moving to. I've never been this deep before in rural country, and my friend had the GPS, and he's like, "Okay, we're gonna take this left right here." So we took the left, thinking we were on the street or the road, and it was just a gravel road. And as we kept on driving farther down, it got progressively narrower and narrower until we were just on this single vehicle dirt gravel road with houses on either side. And this was not an amazingly well-off neighborhood, if you can even call it a neighborhood. It was like something out of the Trailer Park Boys or something. Very redneck. But anyway, um, as we were driving along, we went over this ridge, and as we were coming down, a big black truck comes bolting down in front of us, towards us, and he drives right up to us, right in front of our truck, and stops within, 1 foot of the truck. And then he gets out, and he's very, very, very angry. And he walks up, and I roll down the window, and I think he's just, maybe he's lost. So I give him my hand, I shake his hand, and I'm like, hey, we're just helping a friend move. And immediately as he starts to speak, I can smell alcohol in his breath. And he won't calm down. And he's not yelling, but he's very agitated, and his heartbeat is up. And he's angry. And he said, what are you doing on this private lane with a moving truck? And it's getting dark. And he said that his neighbor had called him and said that me and this other guy were driving down a private lane, apparently, with a moving truck. And he thinks that we're stealing his neighbor's stuff. And at that, we're like really, we're trying to make him feel better. We're like, no, we're not, we didn't move anything. We didn't steal anything. We're just moving an older lady's belongings. And then we hear a four-wheeler come along, and it's getting louder and louder. And then finally, the shirtless guy, he must have weighed 250 pounds. He was ripped. He had no shirt on. He was a huge bodybuilder. He jumps off. He's a shorter guy, but he's huge. He jumps off and runs super spryly towards his buddy here who's confronting us. And then he pulls out this hunting knife, and it must have been at least 1 foot long. Now it's in its sheath, and he starts waving it around on us. And if we thought the first guy was mad, the second guy was even madder. And he starts screaming. He won't calm down. And then he says, get out of the truck, to me. So he makes me get out of the truck. And I mean, I can't do anything. I don't want to do anything rash because he has a knife, and he's probably under the influence too. So he says to my buddy, you stay in the van, you stay in the truck. And he says to me, you get out and show me what's in the back of the truck. And he's like, boy, if we find out you've been stealing something, it's not going to go well for you. And he takes his cell phone and takes a picture of me. And he's like, what's your name? What's your name? And I tell him my name. Then he takes me. He doesn't have the knife pointed at my back, but it felt sketchy. And I lift up the back of the truck and I show him. And as he sees that we really do have moving stuff from this older lady's house, he calms down. His whole tone of voice decreases by like three notches, and he becomes very, very apologetic. And he's worried because now he and his friend look like they're jerks. And then they finally let us go. But I just thought about that situation, and I've never felt so much rage afterwards. In the moment, I was incredibly scared. And my friend took it very well. I was incredibly scared, and I thought, these guys could have done anything to us. We were that helpless. And I've never been in a situation like that where I felt that helpless. And as we were driving away, I was talking to my buddy. I was like, we could have taken them. Why were we so docile, and why were we so meek? I think it's normal for every young man to want to just like get out there and start slugging away and assert our own dominance, especially when we're being treated so rashly. But then I thought, I guess it does look suspicious for us driving along a private lane with a truck when it's getting dark. It does look suspicious. It does look like we're stealing stuff. And I'm sure there's occurrences of people stealing other people's stuff in rural areas. But, I was like, why couldn't we could have taken them. But then I thought, if this guy has a knife, a big hunting knife. If we had have attacked him, I have no doubt that he would have pulled that knife on us and started cutting away. And if you've ever had an experiment, it's cool. We often think, we could deflect any knife stroke. We could deflect a knife blow in a knife fight. But if you take like a marker and you get your friends to deflect the knife marks, and you use that marker as a knife and have like this mock knife fight with your buddy there, you can see with just a marker, you imitating the strokes of a knife, you can see that your friend will have black marker marks all over his arms. And that just shows you in a real knife fight, you're not going to get away without blood on the ground. And at the worst case scenario, you're going to cut an artery or a vein. So in a situation like that, it's best to just run into the woods and hide, as pansy as that sounds. But that was kind of a fun occurrence, scary. The harder things that you do, the more difficult in the future things that you will be able to do. Doing something extremely hard will prime you and prepare you for that next mountain in the future. So all in all, I think it was a good day, and we've already got a few more moving gigs to go, and I'm just very excited and inspired by this. So stay tuned for the next segment of this moving company that we're starting. So have a great day.